is Ian Morris with Light Reading, and I'm here with David Baylis of Technicolor. David, thanks for joining me today.
Good morning.
We're here to talk a lot about open gateways, which is obviously something that's crucial to Technicolor and its strategy at the moment, and you're doing lots in that area. So maybe you could just start by describing what in your view, open gateways are and how they kind of differ from the traditional approach.
Sure. Well, I think we believe that this is a very disruptive and innovative approach to the gateway. The gateway's been a necessary evil over the last 10 to 15 years. It's the network termination endpoint. It's seen as something that needs to be invisible to the subscriber and the end user. It's evolved technologically over time. The operators have been able to deploy technology to make it faster, to make the wireless coverage better. But it's never been seen as something that is central to the home. As I say, it's something that tends to be hidden away. It doesn't necessarily look good, and it doesn't do very much. It's been a necessary part of the broadband pipe. What we're trying to promote with the Open Gateway initiative is an opportunity to revolutionize the approach, to make it customer-centric, and to, if you like, mirror what happened with the smartphone business over the last few years. These days, every consumer is used to interfacing with their smartphones on a very regular basis, probably too regular. And that is because there's a rich catalog of applications and features that are constantly arriving silently and smoothly and easily on the smartphone. The gateway does not do that today. It is very difficult to upgrade and make it evolve. And so the Open Gateway initiative is an opportunity to bring the same kind of application store mentality to a gateway.
Okay. And one of the big moves that you've made recently is a deal with Amazon Web Services, I believe as recently as December.
That's right.
Can you talk a little bit about that and what that means in terms of bringing this open gateway concept to service providers?
Yes, we think this is the big facilitator for us to be able to effect this revolution. What Amazon is well known for is effectively the cloud computing services that have been available over the last few years and have become a very powerful tool for the industry. What Amazon announced alongside certain of their partners like ourselves back in the end of 2016 was Amazon Greengrass Core, which is an abstraction layer that can be loaded onto the next generation of powerful gateways, and that brings an ability to seamlessly bring new services to the gateway. It means that we can address the issues of the monolithic approach to software development and to feature development for the service gateways in the home. And we think that this partnership with Amazon will really bring us a lot of new opportunities to bring new services to the consumers and to the service providers who need to serve those consumers.
Okay. And when we talk about the connected home, I mean, where do you think the open gateway ultimately sits within that sort of broader, ultra broadband market, and in terms of bringing value into the connected home?
Well, I think the key for us is to make the user experience, the out-of-box user experience, a much more smooth and friendly one for the subscriber. Instead of being a source of irritation and frustration when the gateway doesn't work anymore, we think it should be central to the home. We think it can be central to the home as the wealth of the Amazon application developer community brings a wealth of new applications quickly to the home. The ability to use the Amazon Greengrass Lambdas and the containerized, secure elements of the different software features that are brought to the gateway will allow service providers to bring much quicker, faster service velocity to their subscribers. What we see it as is therefore an ability to modernize much more quickly the installed base of features and services that the service providers bring to their subscribers. And the goal for that service provider is always very simple. It's have a happy customer, reduce the cost of operations, reduce churn, and hopefully generate new revenues streams from new services. That's what we think the Open Gateway can bring to the service provider.
Okay. So what are you saying in your conversations with service providers at the moment about the specific opportunities that they can realise in this area, and what sort of tangible progress are you making there?
So I think the key word is the cloud is the limit, or the sky is the limit. It's possible now to bring in new service propositions, new verticals, whether it's in a domain that's been around for a long time but hasn't really been exploited yet, which is IoT. There are billions of small devices coming into the home that are all going to be IP connected. They currently tend to be proprietary and not be able to speak to each other or to the gateway that is serving them. The intent would be that the service providers can knit together, can mesh together those IoT devices in a much more user-friendly way. They can also branch out into new verticals such as health and insurance. And it really is possible, because of the breadth of the application developer community that the Amazon web community can bring, for those service providers to bring many more services quicker to market. And that service velocity is going to be key.
Maybe you could also talk a little bit about some of the applications that you see starting to appear that service providers are introducing as they embark on an open gateway strategy.
I think they have to think, our customers and service providers have to think about what are the most important aspects for making their customers happier, potentially driving revenue. But from our perspective, one of the things that is constantly the buzzword is the total cost of operations. So that is where the customer stickiness, the ability to avoid and troubleshoot remotely, the ability to make installations quicker, to avoid customer calls to the call center, those can be very simple early building blocks that can be implemented quickly, whether it's improving wireless home coverage in the home, which is something that Technicolor is very proud of working on, but all of those customer care aspects that are going to make the customers much more brand aware of the gateway that they have in the home, so that they're not seeing it simply as a broadband pipe. And I think that's where the customers need to, our customers, the service providers, need to be thinking about what are those first building blocks that can easily be introduced. After that, the doors are open to letting that application developer community bring many more services that may not have been imagined at this stage. But that's going to evolve over time. Okay.
And what are some of the applications that you're seeing service providers able to introduce in this new environment?
So I think clearly the potential for security, home security. The consumers today are very concerned about the privacy of their personal data. There has been an enormous amount of media attention on hackable IoT devices, the ability to protect the consumer's privacy. I think those are new domains in which service providers need to be able to reassure their consumers that what they are doing on a gateway can be shared in a safe way, can remain private, can remain local, can be computed locally, does not necessarily disappear into the cloud, into that worrying security conscious world in which many subscribers feel insecure. So that whole area of secure data storage and sharing is important. I think in the medical domain, the ability to monitor health and welfare of the aged is also a vertical in which there's a whole new opportunity. The insurance companies themselves are also very interested in the possibility of local computing and the ability to keep an eye on the health and welfare of subscribers in the home. So I think there are many new verticals where we can help to contribute.
And how is Technicolor helping? I mean, what are you doing at the moment to help service providers kind of get started on this journey, I guess?
I think for a start, we're concentrating on the things that we've been addressing before the arrival of the Open Gateway initiative at Technicolor, which are effectively those proactive, if you like, self-healing gateway functionality. So staying at the very basic level of being able to remote manage the customer's in-home wireless network. It's a first step. It's something that existed before the advent of this new technological break, but it's something that we can solve much more quickly, and I think that's an early and easy win in terms of reducing cost of operations, to be able to ensure that the customers are proactively being self-healed in the way that their wireless network functions in the home, so that gateway experience becomes far more comfortable for them. The other element that clearly is linked also to the Amazon initiative is the fact that voice activation has become very important in the market. We already see voice-activated remotes more and more widely in the television and video consumption world. a gateway with which you can have a conversational intimacy, and that's what the Alexa voice services bring from Amazon. This is what we're integrating on our first generation of the new powerful gateways.
Okay.
That's going to be a crucial part to making the consumer relate to his gateway in a different way. The voice activation, it may be seen as a gimmick in some quarters. I don't know how often you use Siri on your mobile phone. We think in a gateway environment, because it is so difficult for a consumer to understand user interfaces on gateways, very few users get involved in actually looking at the parameters on their gateway, understanding their Wi-Fi network. It's very, very arcane jargon. If there is a way of creating a conversational intimacy around that relationship with the gateway, it's going to make consumers far more comfortable in how they install and set up their homes, in which there are more and more wireless connected devices which are more and more complicated and more liable to create interferences with each other. The ability to talk to your gateway and simply say, fix my problems, without having to pick up a phone and generate a call center or a truck roll cost, is going to be an enormous, have enormous implications in the way we can improve customer service. And that for us is an easy, quick win that we can implement in the 6 to 12 months time frame while we wait for the other services to arrive.
Okay, so we might all be talking to our gateways in the future.
Yes, it's a scary thought, but we might.
Okay, thanks David, thanks for joining me today.
Not at all, it's a pleasure.